Lesson, we're going to go over the 4 different voice types, but before we do that, we're going to go over review what you should know when listening to singers. You should be able to distinguish if what you hear is an adult voice or a children's voice. So adult voices are going to sound like they're older. You're going to hear more of those anyway. Children, they just sound young. You should also be able to tell if when you hear a group of singers, and being more than one person, are they singing the exact same thing the entire time? And if they are, that word is unison. Uni meaning one, like a unicycle has one wheel on it. So if they're singing the exact same thing the entire time, it's unison. It is called an ensemble if there's more than one part. So if there's a group of singers and half of them are singing one part and the other half are singing something else, or they're divided into 3 parts or 4 parts or just more than one, that would be an ensemble with singers. With band, it's always an ensemble. No one's playing the exact same thing the entire time. So that's review. These next 2 should also be review, but we're going to go over them anyway, and you might know them, and that's fine. When you hear any instrumentalist or singer, a performer by themselves, it is called a solo. So with singers, even if there's an orchestra playing or there's piano accompaniment, there's one voice, and so that one voice makes it a solo. So are you hearing one person? If you're hearing 2, it's called a duet. So it doesn't matter if they're singing, if they're both girls, both guys, it doesn't matter. If there's 2 singers, 2 performers, duet. Okay. Now, when we get into vocal types, there's female voices and male voices. So when you're listening, first distinguish, is it a group of singers? Is it a solo? Is it a duet? Figure out what it is first. Then is it male or female? If it is female, there are 2 voice types, and these should be reviewed, but if not, we'll go over them anyway. The higher female voice is called soprano, and oftentimes in music you'll see just the letter S, and that means the soprano voice. The lower female voice is called alto, so oftentimes you'll see the letter A. So if you see the letters S, A together in music, that means soprano, alto. If you see more than one S, that's more than one soprano. So you might see SSA or SAA, so soprano, soprano, alto, or soprano, alto, alto. You might even see 4 of them, SSAA. So always S's are soprano, the A's are always alto, and S's will always come first because it is higher. So the high female voice is soprano, lower female voice is alto. Now when you get to male singers, they also have a high voice and a low voice, but they're all different. So the higher male voice is T, tenor. So there's my T. The male voices will always go below or after the female voices. So tenor is the high male voice. Bass, not bass, we ain't fishing. Okay, bass is the lower male voice. So when you hear 2 of them together, like you'll hear in one of our examples later, you'll hear tenor, bass. Tenor always comes first, just like the soprano always went first, the higher voice and then the lower voice. So TB for tenor bass. If you get more than that, you might see TTB or TBB or TTBB. It just depends on the kind of song. Now, when you put them all together in a group, you'll traditionally get SATB singers, or that's what it's written for. So soprano, alto, tenor, bass. And it will always be in that order because it goes from highest to lowest. So you'll get the highest female voice, the lower female voice, and then the highest male voice and the lower male voice. Sometimes in choir, you'll get 3 parts. You'll see SAB. Now this is where it gets tricky. That B, only if it's with SAB, does not stand for bass. It means baritone, which is a middle voice, and it covers all the male singers. So you'll get 2 female vocal parts and then 1. So you don't really need to know that for the next part of the lesson, but it might be in the Kahoot later, so just keep an eye out. So soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Those are the 4 parts.